Yes, yes, yes. Hello, everyone. So today I wanted to share a quick message with you. While I was meditating this rising, I was doing my breathwork practice as well to ease into the meditation. And the download that came to me was the fact that we come into this world with so many stem cells. This is going to get a little scientific, so follow along with me. But our stem cells on our umbilical cords, which are cut from our navels and discarded some way, somehow, I don't know what they do with it, but that is something that I will be getting to the bottom of. However, these umbilical cords contain stem cells that are crucial for us later in life. And they're actually doing a lot of studies and a lot of testing with stem cells to help individuals cope and deal with certain illnesses and diseases that they've developed later in life, but they're using the stem cells of other individuals, of babies, etc., to conduct these studies, right? And so why is this all coming up for me? Because as I'm doing my breath work, what I'm doing is I'm pulling my cerebral fluid from the spine, from the sacrum, or the bottom of my spine, right? The coccyx. And I'm pulling it through that channel, through my spinal channels, and up into, pass through all of the chakras into my pineal gland. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing how many people have stuck in stagnant energy in that lower region of their back. And this is essentially one of the many reasons of sciatica. When I was studying under my holistic physician, we saw a lot of patients who had sciatica, and my holistic physician was really good at getting to the root cause of why individuals were experiencing this. And a lot of the time, it was, a buildup of uric acid and basically crystallized uric acid, which is what is supposed to be released through your urine. But if there's too much of a buildup, it can crystallize in that portion of your spine, therefore causing the nerve pain feelings that you feel from sciatica. And so I go deeper into this realization of the fact that this is also a culmination of stem cells and cerebral fluid that has crystallized over the years because we haven't been utilizing it. We as a society, we sit down for a majority of the day. We're sitting, we go from one seat to the car to walking maybe for a little bit. We're not as active as we should be, as we once were. And all of the additional stem cells that have been left over after our umbilical cords have been taken is resting at the base of our spine. This is also the same area of your root chakra. And so all of this built up spinal fluid and uric acid and stem cells are just crystallizing, causing blockages at the root. And so, by doing these breathing exercises and by moving your body through walking, through exercising, through yoga, which is one of my favorite, all of them are my favorite, but yoga really helps to break up that stagnant energy and allow it to flow. And then by utilizing breath work, you're able to pull it up from the base of your spine, up through your spinal column, into your pineal gland, passing your throat chakra. You're going to really feel it once you start really getting into your breathing exercises and breathing techniques, up into your throat chakra, and then directing it into your pineal gland, and really sitting with that, doing that a few times, just going with the motion of breathing in and pulling, closing your floor muscles. So your pelvic floor muscles, you want to be able to close those as you're doing this exercise. I find that it's best to do it sitting in a chair or sitting in like a lotus flower position. And so with that, you are bringing these stagnant stem cells that we've been left with, that people think are gone at birth. Not all of them are gone. There's some still sitting in that base of our spinal fluid. And bringing all of that up into your pineal gland to activate it, to spark, to ignite it, because it's a crystal, right? And so this flame of energy, of prana, of chi, is sparking that pineal gland. And this is what takes place during a Kundalini awakening or during your third eye opening. It's not meant to be this sporadic, chaotic thing that happens and takes place. It's meant to be a gradual progression of your own spiritual practice coming into fruition. So people who experience a sudden Kundalini awakening, usually as a result of some sort of accident, I will say that that was probably something that, a part of their own personal agreement. However, it doesn't always have to be that way. And I think because it's been portrayed that way in the media, of somebody suddenly having a Kundalini awakening and then all of a sudden they're labeled as crazy or they're in a mental hospital, like, I think because of that, people have a fear of actually awakening this energy within them. But really and truly, it's supposed to be like a subtle rise, a subtle realization, elevation of consciousness through constant practice and habits. And by adapting some sort of meditative practice, as well as breath work, as well as movement, you can slowly but surely and actively begin to raise that energy on a daily basis. And over time, what it's doing is it's expanding your consciousness. And essentially, you can tap into that third eye energy or that Kundalini feel and rise at any point in your day, at any point in your life. And as you start to do this, you'll start to feel the clarity coming in. You'll start to see things for what they truly are. You start to see the truth in all things. Like, for example, today while I was meditating, I typically don't wear my glasses. And for those of you who may not know, I am what they consider legally blind. So I cannot operate a vehicle or really anything without my glasses. But one thing that they've been telling us since we were children going to school, going through their system, is that matter is solid, right? We've been told this for a majority of our lives. But one thing I realized this rising when I was meditating, after my meditation, after doing my breath work, I didn't have my glasses on. And I could see, and I've always been able to do this, I could see how everything is just a bunch of atoms compact together to appear to be solid. And so when they say 20/20 vision, what they're really doing is they're making us see that everything is solid and believe that everything is solid. But in reality, when I take my glasses off, I can see through the BS, quite literally and figuratively. I can see the atoms vibrating in the walls, and I can see how, if we believed that we could move through the wall because it's not solid, we really could. But because we believe it's solid, there's going to be a lot of reprogramming that we would have to do in order to do amazing, miraculous things like the superheroes in the movies, because movies are just documentaries, right? We'd be able to move through matter because matter is not solid. And so I saw this as I was coming out of my meditation after I did my breath work, bringing my spinal fluid to my pineal gland. I was able to truly see with all of my eyes, even though I didn't have my glasses on. I wasn't seeing 20/20, but what I was seeing was the truth. And so because of this, I was able to take off. I realized how this illusion of solid matter has kept us from achieving our fullest potential, because imagine how life would be growing up, especially as a child, knowing that you could move through matter. You could put your hand through the wall and it would go through because you knew the laws of physics and you knew the laws of the universe, and how everything is appearing as solid. Everything is appearing as this image or this thing, but in reality it's not. So that was the beautiful realization among so many others that came out of my practice today and every other day. But I just wanted to share that message with you all to begin working with this innate gift that we've been given and that is still within all of us. You are so, so powerful, and hold you hold all of the gifts, all of the powers are within you at this very moment. They're just waiting to be awakened. They're waiting to be moved and unstagnated, So it's time that we begin tapping in. I recommend doing some research before you dive deep into any practices that you are just starting out. Big believer in research, and if you want to learn more specifically about breath work and about Kundalini and your chakras and all that good stuff, I'll be sharing all of this in my community, which you can find down below. I've already gone deep into some breathwork practices that you can begin incorporating into your day-to-day life. I will be sharing more about the chakras, about Kundalini, and about some more intense forms of breathwork that you can begin doing to bring about the reality that you desire. I'll be going deeper into the mechanics of the body and epigenetics, as well as what we can use our natural gifts for in order to not only help ourselves and change our lives, but help others as well, help others do the same. So I'll be sharing all of that, more to come in my community, more to come here in the YouTube world and wherever you're finding this message. So yeah, feel free to follow the journey, and I hope to see you all soon. Thanks.